All right. Welcome to Indie Corner. We're talking about all things independent comics, specifically the most ironically feminist comic of 2002, Brian K. Vaughan's Y the Last Man. I'm Mikey.
I'm Seamus.
All right, you like that? See, I did that one
feminist. That's yeah, you know.
Because the title. Because the title. It's a
That's
little
true.
ironic.
True.
So, see? Using my noggin. All right.
It's tough. Listen, I do not take my apprehension as a knock on your creativity, because I think it's just difficult to come up with a witty sentence for Why the Last Man, because it's just so weird. But
yeah, people, today we're back at another episode for you. So this time we're gonna be doing a little bonus episode, for you. So just a little something short, something sweet, and because if you haven't checked out our first episode of the podcast, where we're talking about Volume 1, Unmanned, which was the first 5 issues, please check that out. It was a good conversation, good conversation to talk about. And again, Seamus, I don't know if I mentioned this before you earlier, but did I mention the Ask section that YouTube's been adding, with the AI?
No, what?
Yeah, they added an AI section, on the tabs, where you can literally ask Gemini to summarize the video, or if there's any questions that it has, it'll prompt up questions. You can click on it and it will just give answers relative to the video that you're watching. It is weird. I've been getting dissertations via Gemini. It's weird, bro. When we're talking about Why the Last Man, I did it with Deadly Class, with our Deadly Class stuff. They'd give me whole ass dissertations, all the stuff that I didn't even think about when I was talking about it at the time. It's crazy. But yeah, people, if you haven't checked out the video, please check out the video. It was a good time. And so our little bonus episode today is because Seamus mentioned towards the end when we finished episode 1, are we gonna cover the Why the Last Man television series that was on FX that got canceled? Yes, we are. That is planned. But I wanted to put Seamus onto something, because I was surprised he's never watched this as a Why the Last Man fan, and I knew about this for years. So yeah, we are going to be talking about the fan film came out around 2012, known as Why the Last Man Rising, and yeah, so it was came out on July 11, 2012. It was written, directed by Christian Cardona, and it was produced by IGN and another production company. I think it's Drake 199 Productions, and yeah, so this was a fan film based on pretty much the first volume of Why the Last Man, kind of roughly. And this was a part of cause I don't know, Seamus, if you remember, back around this time, 2012, 2013, 2014, IGN was producing fan films, and they actually had their own fan film festival,
Yeah, was it? Oh no, or was that Machinima?
I think remember it was both.
Yeah, because I was specifically thinking of the Mortal Kombat series. That I forget if that was Machinima or IGN that did that one. I want to say it was Machinima, which is why I was hesitant. But I do remember that Mortal Kombat show that they were doing.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat Legacy. That was directly from Machinima. I know that for a fact. But I remember IGN back in the day was they had their own film festival and were just uploading and dropping fan films from different creators. I remember they did a Punisher fan film along with this one too. I think it was. I
remember that one.
I think it was under I think it wasn't IGN. It was one of the sub channels. It was IGN Start, something like that. I thought it was really cool, and I kind of when I was watching this, I was rewatching this. I was damn, I wish I kind of missed that era of when IGN actually was pumping out content like this, because I thought it was really fun. But yeah, man. So this came out 2012, and I watched this around 2013, 2014. I was definitely in middle school, high school at the time when I watched this, and yeah, this was actually my introduction to Why the Last Man. I didn't know what Why the Last Man was until I actually was on YouTube one day and saw this, and yeah, and Seamus, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you haven't checked this out. I was oh wow, am I putting you on something you don't know? Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, but real quick, people, before we even get into our thoughts on Why the Last Man Rising, please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. That would be lovely. We love subscribers. We appreciate subscribers. And also leave a like on the video. Get them fucking likes up. We really appreciate the support. And yeah, so we'll get right into it. So Seamus, we'll offer it, bro. So give me your overall thoughts on this film, because again, it's only like 20 minutes long, so like it's pretty quick watch. What did you think of it?
Yeah,
Though?
I was gonna say, it is a fan film.
Yes,
You know,
very.
you gotta get with okay, I wouldn't say with most fan films, there is a little barrier of like, it's a fan film. You know what I mean? Like the only two off the top of my head that I didn't have that with was the Nathan Fillion Uncharted one and the Spawn one were the two where I was like, I didn't have to like go like, well, it's a fan film, you know, you cut it some slack. Those two, I was like, oh no, these are really solid shorts that this person made. But this definitely is one of those ones where you kind of gotta grade it on the fan film scale, which is like, you know, but that's not to say like it's like awful or terrible. That's just to say it has a little bit of jank to it. It's a little bit, you know, budget was not the priority here. But in that, I think that's what makes it more impressive, that they do nail so much about the book, like very well. And I think the casting, especially, I was like, damn, the people they got kind of are like really good as these characters, even though that, you know, the lighting might be funky, the shot might look weird or whatever, but these people aren't necessarily bad actors in the lead roles, which I was like, this guy actually feels a little like Yorick, like he's doing a little good job.
The casting was my favorite part about it. I was like, especially like when I was watching it before I read the comic, I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. But then, like, after now having context of reading the book and then going back and rewatching it again, I was like, no, they're really embodying these characters really well. You know, it was very impressive. You know, but yeah, man, I like this fan. I like this fan film. Yeah, but it is a fan film, but I think it actually like it's pretty impressive of what they're what they do accomplish with, I guess, like the minimum budget that they have.
That's what I'm saying. It's interesting, and there are some cool ideas that you know what I mean, that when you're watching it, you're like, I see the vision, like I see what you were trying to do. It's like what this shot would have looked like if you didn't have the limited budget. You know what I mean? Like there are some shots where I was like, wait, I see what you're getting at there, and that I think was also especially interesting. You know what I mean? And it's not anything crazy. It's not anything too like, this is incredible or this is groundbreaking, but it's a bunch of it's just really cool to see someone early in like their career or creative process have ideas that you can see are good ideas, but are just kind of held down by the fact that they're early on in their career or they don't have the budget. But it's still there. You know what I mean? You can still feel a little bit of the sauce and be like, oh yeah, wait, I see what you're going with. So I think that was easily the most interesting part of this fan film, and that would be the reason I recommend it the most is like, because it's a good introduction to why, because it does just really cover like the first issue, you know, and I think that's just like a good, like, you know, like, oh, this is what Y's about. This is like a hook to get you into reading the book, or like, you know. But I think it just does a really good job at like solidly introducing you to everyone and just giving you a solid visual, you know, style that you can easily like catch on to, because it does feel very similar to the visual style of the comics.
Oh, absolutely. I think they nailed that pretty well. Like they nailed the visual. They kind of do a good job of kind of matching the visual style of the comic book as best they can. But I think it works. I mean, even with like the cinematics with their intros and stuff, what they do with the movie, I was like, okay, like this is definitely like how I expect the vibe of the comic to be like, you know. What did you think of the opening? Because I thought it was very interesting, because they do change some stuff around in this. Obviously, condensed into like a 20-minute, you know, a 20-minute narrative. But like, what do you think of the beginning? Because I thought it was a great idea to like where you were saying I see the vision of like how they opened up with a plane crash. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I think that's a better opening than the comic book has, because the comic book, when the comic book opens and you're kind of thrown in on that street, and she's like, all the men are dead. You're just kind of like, oh, don't do that. Don't start over here. I like this better of an idea because it's a cold open that just throws you into the confusion and the immediate terror of something like that happened, rather than just kind of like giving yourself a reason to drop the entire hook and twist of the book in the first 2 pages when it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Because like, no disrespect to Brian K. Vaughan. This is, in the grand scheme of things, such a small nitpick, but in the comic, he kind of uses that device to just basically tell you what's happening to get you locked in on the book. Whereas this, showed you what's happening and has you kind of like go like, whoa, what's going on? I kind of know what happened. People are dying, but why? You know? And I think that get it why?
Fun.
Yeah, but I think that just was more effective of an opening for me.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was a lot more interesting, and again, it does a really good idea of just like showing, not telling, you know, and it like kind of like, you know, and it also makes you ask questions, you know, at the same time. I thought it was great. But yeah, man, it's good stuff. Real quick, before we even get into that, just real quick, I just wanted to just show off this. Like, the thing is, there's not a lot of promo art for this. I went on all I could find was what they had on like their IMDb, the IMDb page. But I thought the promo for this was really good. But yeah, man, I'm trying to think what else, because they changed a lot of stuff, because they don't mention, like, there's no Beth in here. There's no Israel plot mentioned at all in this at all.
I think that's fine, because they were obviously just trying to get the
general
vibes of the book down, and going into the Israel stuff, that's stuff that is set up for later in the book and character interactions later. And if you're only doing a fan film that you're expecting to only be 20 minutes, you don't really need to get into all that, because it's like, you know, you would have like a 5 out of 20 minutes would be dedicated to random setup that's never getting paid off, you know.
Oh yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, it would be kind of weird just to, like, you know, just set up a bunch of stuff and then just
here's an IDF soldier killing people, and you're like, oh yeah, we know they do that all the time. Like,
yeah, oh man, but yeah, this is pretty much all the promo art I can find. But yeah, we'll just move on real quick to the only three characters that are in here. But we'll do the first two first. But yeah, Yorick Brown and Agent 355, played by Travis Quentin Young and Ken King, who Ken King also co-produced this as well. I'll say my thoughts off rip about these two. I think Travis Quentin Young, for the amount of time we see him as Yorick, I think he's a perfect Yorick. I actually like him as Yorick more than I like him in the FX show. That casting of the character. I think he, like, the way his look, like his look, his mannerisms, the way he speaks, it just seems like Yorick. Like he has that like schmuck loser vibe to him. I don't want to talk shit on him, but like I feel like he matches that perfectly, you know.
I was gonna say, I think these are this is where I have to bring back in the fan film scale, because like these are great characters and they play these characters well for a fan film, and this guy is great for the 20 minutes he's Yorick, and he's spot on. But you know what I mean, I think a lot of people conflate that with this guy could carry a television show, and I'm not so sure about that. You know what I mean? No disrespect, but like he's great the 20 minutes he's in, but I don't know if that necessarily would have translated better to like 12 hours of television, you know. That's true. That's not saying he's not good. That's just saying he's good in this chunk that he's in. He's great in this chunk.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he does do the most with the 20 minutes that he's given. But I just think, like, just from those 20 minutes, just like the way he looks, like the way like Pia Guerra draws Yorick, I could just see that immediately off of him. You know, like he just looks like he's like the character come to life, in my opinion. You know, and Ken King at Agent 355, I think she's good. She's good. You know, she's not really. I mean, again, it's only 20 minutes, but I thought her scene where, like, again, they changed her origin a little bit, where like she get introduced in like a random military base in Afghanistan, and she gets caught in a helicopter crash with said misogynist soldiers that die right in front of her. So I thought like that change was interesting. Because again, they don't really do the Israel thing in here, which is really not needed. When she does, I like her camaraderie with them. Well, I like her dynamic with Yorick. That's spot on. I think her fight, you know, again, knowing it's a fan film, I thought her fight against, you know, the Amazons in the diner was cool. You know, it's cool for a fan film. You know, nothing too crazy. I thought she nailed it. I thought she nailed the dynamic. You know, the way I think like the seriousness of the character. I thought she did a good job. And I also love her look. Like I love like the long dreads. Like I love like that kind of like dystopian like dystopian like Mad Mask Mad Max-esque kind of like look to her a little bit that they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think these characters are great. I think for these two actors are good with what they do for sure. But yeah, it's kind of wild that like before the FX show, like these were the two, like these are the only live action adaptations we've ever had of these characters ever. If you think about it, so before the show came out, so but I think it's cool just to see like yeah, they did a good job. Like 13 years ago. So,
right?
Yeah. And yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say on Yorick and Agent 355? Or no?
No, I like I said, I think they're both solid. I think they're very good for the time that they're in this movie. But
yeah, absolutely. Again, I knew it was great the moment when when he gets Yorick out of the diner. And the first thing she does is just bunt him in the face with a shotgun. I'm like, yep, that is Agent 55. That is that dynamic. Absolutely.
yeah.
And yeah, so then the only other character that's on here, the third character that we're going to talk about, pretty much is not also like she's in the middle of the show of the fan film and at the end, but Hero Brown, played by Rebecca Marshall. I feel like she's the one that gets the most change out of them all because the way she's introduced, like, because in the comics she's a paramedic in Boston. And literally watches her boyfriend die like while on the job. But here they change her to more being in Los Angeles. She's married to some random like rich guy who has a daughter. She's pretty much like an unwanted stepmom. And yeah, that's but the only thing that's intact is like the end. Well, what happens at the end where they do the whole Amazon meeting with Victoria. Then they talk about how the Amazons that Yorick interacted mentioned that a man is out there, and then they ask if anyone knows anything about Los Angeles, which is where they're going to, and he says, he lifts her hand up and says her. So it's pretty much straight from the end, straight from the comic. Yeah, I thought Rebecca Marshall did a good job. It's interesting because I think compared to like Hero in this, and then Hero in like the FX show, she's a lot more. I would say it's more sympathetic, a lot more like likable. Like she's very she's very nice. She's a very nice person. In this, that's just trying her best. But then obviously, from the brief scene we have here, like obviously things change. Once the men die. Yeah, I thought Rebecca Marshall did a good job, and I thought her interaction with Yorick, in this was pretty good. A pretty good sibling relationship from what we've got in those 20 minutes. But yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of Rebecca Marshall's performance as Hero?
No, I agree. It was like I said, solid for the 20 minutes, that I was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
It worked for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro. But yeah. But overall, like the whole cast, the cast itself, even the smaller roles, like I thought the Amazons were kind of funny. Like you know, like I like how they kept the whole cup check thing. They kept the whole cup check joke in the second issue with that. Yeah. I thought like. Yeah, the look of them, like I thought the diner was interesting. That I don't remember in the comic, like that scene ever happening in the comic ever. Yeah, no, I thought it was a really good choice.
It was original, yeah.
Really good choice to add. And and also like, expect a little more ample. Like again, it's probably expensive to like have a capuchin monkey walk around on set, on location. So I was like, okay, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, I think that kind of speaks for itself. But yeah, bro. So give me your final thoughts and your verdict. What would you give Why the Last Man Rising out of 10?
On like a regular scale, probably be like a 5. On like a fan film scale, probably be like a 7.5.
Okay.
So I'd be like, fun. Check it out. It's like 20 minutes. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I'd maybe go a little higher. I'd give it like maybe 5.5, maybe a 6, maybe. A 5. I'll say 5.5, 6, and then fan film scale. It is like a 7. It is like a 7 or 7 or an 8. I think it's good for the time. And like they do a lot of impressive stuff with this stuff, like even visually. In this, and they nail the comic down to a T. The cast does a really good job of what they're given. You know, and like, you know, the look of it, the cost, everything. I think everybody is pretty solid and is a very good representation of the comic. And it's just wild that like that was our only live action adaptation of Why the Last Man until the show came out. What, like over a decade later? So like, you know,
Yeah.
it's really an accomplishment. And yeah, man, yeah. So Why the Last Man Rising? People, check it out, please. Check it out. Again, I think you made a good point where it's like, yeah, if you want to like tell someone about the comic, just send them this fan film. Like it's I think it does a pretty good job of giving people a good idea of what the book is like. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. But yeah, people, that is pretty much it. Yeah, just a quick little bonus episode. Nothing too crazy. So please, you know, just a little outro, please, for everyone who will watch this. We appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you know when we drop new content. And leave a like, leave a comment if you've seen the film, this little fan film. What do you think about it? I will leave it in the comments in the description below so y'all can check it out for yourself. And yeah, please also check out our first episode of our Why the Last Man podcast covering volume 1. And I believe we are going to be doing volume 2 soon, maybe this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can figure it out. You know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Booked up in October.
Dude, yeah, too much. Like we
booked up. We gotta record all that, and I gotta go to New York Comic Con for a weekend. Oh yeah.
I know it's gonna be crazy, but I think we can do it. We can make it work. I'm safe. We love y'all. We'll catch y'all next time. All right. Peace.